The Rays' four-game winning streak came to an end yesterday in Motown. The Tigers' offense blasted 3 home runs, holding off the Rays 5-4. Today, it's a marquee pitching matchup. Right-hander Chris Archer goes to the hill against Jordan Zimmermann. We welcome you to Detroit, Michigan. This is the wrap-up game of the series between the Rays and the Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball. Rays and the Tigers have divided the first 2 games here, and we have the pitching matchup, the rubber game of the series, featuring Chris Archer and Jordan Zimmermann.
Yeah, this is a marquee matchup, no question about it. And, you know, for Chris Archer, very quietly, he has put together a nice streak here for the Rays. It hasn't always been easy, but I'll tell you what, in his last 5 starts, he's got a 3-0 record, a 2.43 earned run average. Listen, he's given up some base runners. He's been in some tight spots. The majority of the good work that he's done recently is because of what he's done with runners in scoring position. Just 1 out of 21 during this time frame for an 0.48 average. He toughens up with runners on, and he's been able to put together a nice little streak. The other guy, Jordan Zimmermann, I'll tell you what, he's a big free agent acquisition for this Detroit Tiger Ball Club, and he's off to a tremendous start for this team. A 6-2 record, an ERA of 2.45 through 8 starts. He's pitching deep into games, almost averaging 7 innings a start. You know, he's not a stuff guy, but he's a veteran, knows how to pitch, works quickly. 4 pitches.
Rays won the first 4 games on this trip, dropping the second game of the series to the Tigers 5-4. But the big loss here in Detroit, Kevin Kiermaier with that broken hand. When we come back, Rich Hollenberg gives us the latest.
Win versus Detroit as Mikey Matuk joins the team for Game 3 of this 3-game set. And of course, it was a tough loss Saturday for the Rays to the Tigers. It was also a tough loss in terms of personnel as well. Kevin Kiermaier injuring his left hand, breaking 2 bones in that left hand, trying to make a diving catch that lands him on the disabled list. He flew back to St. Petersburg this morning. He will be examined Monday by Dr. Doug Carlin, a hand specialist. And as you saw, Mikey Matuk joins the team today to fill the roster spot. In Durham, he's been hitting .333 in 20 games this year, .375 in the last 7 since he himself came off the DL with an oblique injury. After yesterday's game, an emotional Kiermaier describes what happened.
Just want to try to make that play right there, and I got to it, but glove kind of caught the ground and made my hand go away that it's never gone before, and that's a result of what happened. And just really unfortunate. I was really starting to feel good at the plate, and the team's playing really good, and you know, for that to happen, pretty bad timing. And I love playing this game, and I love playing with these guys, and it's just a little emotional for me right now.
So Desmond Jennings gets the start in center field today, dealing with a high sky in Detroit. Skipper Kevin Cash telling me it'll be center fielder by committee for the most part over the next few weeks. When we come back, first pitch of the rubber match of the series between the Rays and Tigers. Dwayne and BA have the call next.
Back at Comerica Park where the Rays and the Tigers square off this afternoon. Temperature will be in the upper 60s, reaching the low 70s before the day is complete. And the Rays are looking for a series victory, dropping the contest here yesterday 5-4 after winning the first game of the 3-game series Friday 7-5. Let's take a look at the starting lineups presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Brandon Geyer is going to lead it off for the Rays, followed by Brad Miller and then Evan Longoria, Pierce, Souza Jr. and Morrison down the middle. Desmond Jennings in center. Tim Beckham will hit 8th and play second base. Kurt Casale will do the catching. He'll bat 9th.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Detroit Tigers is right-hander Jordan Zimmermann, off to a great start. And you want to hear a line of a professional pitcher? His last outing against the Minnesota Twins, 7 innings, 11 hits, gave up 8 runs, 7 earned, picked up a win.
He's the kind of guy who doesn't get bothered by much out there on the mound. He likes to get the baseball and throw it. And there's the first pitch. Base hit to the left of Romine and into center. Brandon Geyer is aboard. So the Rays come out swinging.
Well, let's go ahead and set that Detroit Tiger defense for you here this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we have Stephen Moya, Cameron Maben, and J.D. Martinez. And across the infield third to first, Nick Castellanos, Andrew Romine, Ian Kinsler, and Miguel Cabrera with Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate. Unless these Rays hitters step out a lot, Zimmermann will set a very quick tempo. 1-0 to Miller. As Miller steps back. Zimmermann is a get the ball and throw it kind of pitcher. Well, listen, he's a veteran. He's coming off of 4 straight seasons, double-digit wins. Knows what he wants to do. You know, when you know what you want to do, there's no reason to sit around and waste time. Set the tempo, set the tone, and get into attack mode. That's what he does. 13-game winner last year in the National League with Washington. There's a strike to Brad Miller. 1-1. That's fouled straight back, going to be out of play. Wind up in the seats below. A 1-2 count on Miller. Kevin Cash has the Rays at 20-20 right now, running third in the AL East. 5.5 games off the pace. That's a hot shot, line foul into the stands. Well, Brad Miller continues to hit the ball as hard as any player in uniform, it seems. Brad Ausmus, the skipper, 3rd year for the Tigers. It's amazing, you know, the first couple of weeks as he's getting acclimated, didn't see that much, but recently that ball, like you said, jumping off of the bat. You think about some of the Rays, I mean, they've had 13 different guys hit home runs in the 3rd week of May. And fun to watch. Ground ball, the shortstop. Romine to Kinsler 1, first base 2. A 6-4-3 double play, erasing Geyer. Well, Jordan Zimmermann, he has that ability to get ground balls, understands situations, and pitches accordingly. And that one right there, a good pitch down and away, gets you 2 outs. Base is empty for Evan Longoria. Evan hitting .258. Homered yesterday to extend his hitting streak to 9. The Toyota inside look. That was his 500th career extra base hit. And home run number 200 as a 3rd baseman. And this was a nice job. I mean, at this point, Michael Fulmer was absolutely dealing, and that fastball kind of up and in, and showing some quick hands there to get to that one. Tied the ball game up. Pitch upstairs. Fly ball, left center. In comes Moya on the run. He's a big guy out there. Strides in to make the catch. Bottom of the 1st coming, no score from Detroit.
A scoreless top of the first for the Rays. Chris Archer goes to the mound to face the Tigers in the bottom of the first. Starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Ian Kinsler is going to lead off again today, followed by J.D. Martinez and Miguel Cabrera. Victor Martinez, the DH, then Nick Castellanos. Stephen Moy is in there in left field. Cameron Maben in center. Jared Santalamacchia behind the plate. Andrew Romine, the shortstop, hits ninth.
Well, and for Chris Archer, it's all about a quick start. You see his season numbers, but his first inning ERA up to this point stands at 10. It's been a struggle for Chris early on with command, so that's what you want to look for here this afternoon, and hopefully he's got it locked in from pitch number 1.
First pitch down and away.
Maybe pitch number 2. Try pitch 2.
Well, you're right. That first inning has been an issue. 32 pitches in his last outing against Toronto. There's a ground ball and a base hit. Rays had Miller shaded toward the hole, and Kinsler has a single.
Well, let's set the Rays defense for you here this afternoon, brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In that outfield, left to right, we've got Brandon Geyer, Desmond Jennings, and Steven Souza Jr. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Brad Miller, Tim Beckham, and Steve Pearce, with Kurt Casale behind the plate.
And there's Desmond Jennings starting in center field in the absence of Kevin Kiermaier and the broken hand he sustained. J.D. Martinez takes the pitch down, 1-0. Well, a couple of major losses for the Rays. Logan Forsythe with the hairline fracture, the scapula, and now the broken hand suffered by Kiermaier. And that could be a lengthy process before the Rays get Kiermaier back.
You're talking about the hand, the wrist, the amount of healing that has to happen with no movement. You got to keep that thing stabilized. Then you've got to get back into game shape. I mean, if you took a list of Rays, that you could least afford to lose. I mean, Kiermaier and Forsythe are right at the top of the list.
And J.D. Martinez tried to check, but could not. It's 1-2. Here's the injury, and you can see that left hand right at the wrist.
You know, when a player gets up, holds the injured part of his body, and is leaving the field on his own, you know that they know something bad happened.
1-2, and that's shot deep into left center field. Over to make the pickup, Geyer. Kinsler's on his way to the plate. It's a double for Martinez, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead.
That's one of those pitch selections that you may look back at later in the ballgame or when the ballgame's over and regret. You know, he got J.D. Martinez to really swing and miss at 2 sliders that were in the dirt, and instead of going back to that pitch, you go with a fastball. It doesn't get to its spot, and J.D. Martinez absolutely whacks it deep out into left center field. Sometimes you get a little bit too fancy. Instead of just putting them away with the slider, you let them off the hook.
Tigers take an early lead, nobody out. Here's Miguel Cabrera. He fouls it away. Cabrera hitting .302, and we've seen him hit the ball deep to all fields in this series, and that's what he does. That's his game.
Well, he stays inside the baseball and lets it travel. Sees it for a long time. That's why right there, Chris Archer going in, because the pitch is middle of the plate, middle away. He just lets them travel into the zone, and then bam, hits those balls with authority out to right center, right field.
It's a 2-1 count. And a called strike by Paul Nart. Run home. Kinsler has crossed the plate on the double by J.D. Martinez. That's going to run the count full. On deck is Victor Martinez. And we know how tough he's been against the Rays through the years. That's up the middle into center field. Martinez will score. It's 2-0. A troubling start for Archer. 3 consecutive hits leading to 2 runs, nobody out.
How about that job by Miguel Cabrera? That's not a bad slider. That's, for a full count, that's a good slider. Down and away. Plate coverage and strength. You can go down and away with a breaking ball and get it back up the middle and hit it hard enough to get it into center field. That's a great shot of that swing and how he can. That's just tough to pitch against when a guy is as talented as he is. Pitch recognition, plate coverage, understanding what a pitcher's trying to do. He's a difficult out. Look away.
Victor Martinez chases that one down. Victor Martinez, the 6th leading hitter in the American League at .326. A ball and a strike. Archer coming off the outing in Toronto when he got through a shaky first. Rays went on to win that game with a big offensive output, 12-2. Finds a strike there. It's 1-2 on Victor Martinez.
Yeah, and that has been the trouble spot for Chris Archer early in games. We talked about it right when the game started. ERA of 10 in the first inning. That's going to go up here.
Missing wide. 2-2.
Now this little stretch that he's been on, he's put up some good numbers his last 5 starts. It always hasn't been that easy. He's been great with runners in scoring position. He's made pitches when he's needed to.
Shot to center field. Jennings on the run, and he makes the catch. Grabbing it as he hit the track. Headed back to first is Cabrera on a long fly ball off the bat of Victor Martinez, and Jennings a good job of running that one down in center field.
I mean, you're kidding me. That ball was punished out into left center field and deep left center field. Watch Desmond Jennings coming from right center. He shaded over. And a backhand running catch. What a play by Desmond. That's that wide receiver in him.
So Archer records the first out thanks to Jennings. Covering a lot of ground right there. Nick Castellanos will be the hitter. Castellanos, the 3rd leading hitter in the American League at .338. Fouls it the other way. Out of play it goes.
How about the two Red Sox at the top of, Jackie Bradley Jr., we talked a little bit about him yesterday, continues that hit streak. Xander Bogaerts.
Castellanos 1 of 8 for the series. And down 0-2.
That was a good slider right there by Chris Archer. That's the one you want to see him bring out, especially when he's ahead in the count, because that's what will get hitters to chase. Good depth on that. He throws it hard. Pitch starting to come around for him.
Castellanos fouls that one out of play.
He just went up at that fastball that was up at the top of the zone and just kind of flipped it. I would go right back to that slider, down and away. You've got confidence in the pitch, and you should, especially after the last one you just threw. This is the time to put him away.
Well, that was the pitch that had always bothered Castellanos in years prior to this one. He shoots that fastball out of play. He was so prone to chasing that pitch that he hit only .230 against right-handed pitching last year. And that's a very quick start this year, and until just the last few days was actually leading the league in hitting.
And most of that damage has been done against righties. But boy, I tell you, get to that slider. Yeah, see, that's, a nice job of fouling that pitch off, but he's not going to be able to hurt you with that pitch.
So 5 pitches in, a 2-strike count.
We could use a ball on the ground here. Get a double play, get out of this inning.
Cabrera, the base runner at first. And there is strike 3 call. Paul Nart rings up Castellano.
Well, that slider right on the edge, maybe just a little bit off, definitely too close to take. And I think Castellanos is saying there's no way I can do anything with this pitch. And he's right.
Well, it's a great pitch, number one. And Archer and the Rays might want to take note of that with Paul Nart, who on occasion will expand that corner a little bit. Stephen Moya fouls the pitch off, strike 1. In fact, Nart was behind the plate when Archer came out and threw that great game against the Orioles. The Rays had a combination shutout, and Archer broke out the changeup early in that game, as we remember. There's a chop down to third. Longoria with the flip to second. Miller covering the bag. 2-run score at the end of an inning. 2-0 Detroit. facing the right-hander Jordan Zimmerman. Steve Pearce will lead it off against this right-hander in our Buick GMC big matchup. Comes early here. Pearce 4 of 9 against Zimmerman. All of that came from Zimmerman being with the Washington Nationals and Pearce being with the Baltimore Orioles. So they have faced each other before. Strike on the outside part of the plate. 1-1.
Dwayne, finish your story on what's the home plate umpire's name?
Paul Nart.
Yeah,
Yep.
Finish that story.
We'll get there.
Okay.
You know, he does tend to widen the plate a little bit.
I just like the way you say his name.
1-2 the count on Pearce. This one off the plate. 2-2. Souza Jr. next, and then Morrison. Shot to center field. Maben will have to go back, still on the move, and he makes the catch right in front of the wall by the 420 marker. Makes contact with the wall out there and holds on to the baseball. A drive to the deepest part of this park, and Maben, since coming off the disabled list, has been doing everything right, and he makes an outstanding catch here.
Watch him kind of tracking this ball back over his shoulder. Ball into the glove, body into the wall. Outstanding, outstanding play. Maintaining concentration. You know that's coming.
Watch Pearce. Really? How far do you have to hit the ball?
421.
Now Steven Souza Jr. He takes the ball. Souza, a couple of hits off Zimmerman. One and one to count. Foul out of play. Geyer had a base hit in the first. Rays lost him on a double play. Ground ball toward the hole at short. Picked up by Romine. Throw to first. Not going to be in time. A nice scoop by Cabrera. But Souza beats the play in and has an infield hit.
You can almost feel and sense that coming. When Steven Souza Jr. forces a shortstop to move to his right into the hole. Good speed. He gets up the line rather quickly, and he's able to beat that play right there. See him get going. Long strider.
One on with one out for Logan Morrison. Down and away. Zimmerman will be 30 years old tomorrow. He's out of Auburndale, Wisconsin, a little town with a little over 700 people in it. That's a 2-ball, no strike count. Said when he went to school, Zimmerman, his school, actually had an annual event called Bring Your Tractor to School Day.
No, it did not.
It did.
That's fantastic.
There goes the runner. The pitch is skied the other way, out of play. It's 2-1. Well, he's one of the old school guys, you know, pitchers years ago who grew up on the farm with dairy farms and milking cows, developed strong hands. And that's one of the things that, as a kid in Wisconsin, in Auburndale, Jordan Zimmerman did.
And he's got linebacker size. Now, let me ask you this. Bring your tractor to school day. Town has 700 people.
Yep.
Could you even field enough players for a baseball team?
Well, the town could have 700 people, but then you would draw from farms around the town.
It'd be a mean group. Surly.
Oh, a drive hit high and deep to right off the bat of Logan Morrison, and the Rays are on the board. A 2-run shot. Not much doubt about that one when Morrison made contact, and that will tie this game at 2. Souza Jr. scoring in front of Morrison.
And they come in bunches now. How about that? Logan Morrison gets off the schneid up in Toronto, his first RBI on a fielder's choice, and now he's just been a machine, and that ball was absolutely crushed. When a hitter puts his head down right away, there's no doubt about it.
Well, the pitch to Desmond Jennings, a fastball too close. Well, Morrison is now 12 of his last 40 after that really difficult start. And we talked the other day about Morrison putting that behind him, completely out of mind. And when you're swinging the bat like this, you have to believe he's not thinking one thought about where he was at the beginning of the year.
And it has to be, when you're in a slump like that, so difficult to maintain, you know, a positive mind frame. I mean, really to get yourself out of it. And you're right, once you do, there can be no looking back even before that. But now it's just all about how you're feeling right now, and obviously that's very good if you're Logan Morrison.
Jennings out on strikes. First strikeout for Zimmerman. Two gone in the inning, and here's Tim Beckham. Beckham with a home run and 3 runs batted in this year. He lines it into right. That's going to fall. 1 hop in front of J.D. Martinez. Beckham picks up the 3rd hit of the inning.
One thing that this Rays lineup knows is Zimmerman likes to work fast, throw strikes. He is very efficient with his pitches. So this is already an aggressive team. You know that they're going to be ready to go today. And that first fastball that's going to be out over the plate, you're going to see it all day long. These guys are going to be taking rips at it. No use to wait around.
There's Kurt Casale. One ball, no strikes. One and one. Zimmerman came over to Detroit and immediately put his mark on his spot in the rotation. 24 1/3 scoreless innings to start the year.
Yeah, how about that? How about coming right out of spring training? You don't give up your first earned run until your 4th start.
See the first 7 starts, a 1.50 ERA, and then gave up some runs against the Twins, but they came away with a win. J.D. Martinez handles the fly ball off the bat of Casale. Rays are on the board. They get 2 on the home run by Logan Morrison. 2 runs, 3 hits, and a man left. Through an inning and a half, we're tied 2-2. 2-2 ball game. Rays right back with a couple in the top of the inning on the home run by Logan Morrison. Chris Archer making 25 pitches in the first, touch for a couple of runs on 3 hits. Well, here's a test for him. If you can get Cameron Maben out, then that's a big step in the right direction, because he's been red hot since coming off the disabled list. There's a first pitch strike. He's stealing bases, and we saw earlier making great catches on the ball that Pierce hit.
Hit a home run yesterday.
Yep.
I mean, he really is doing it all.
Fouls it back. He's 11 for 17. That's hot.
Still can't get him out of the 7-hole in the lineup, though. Not this lineup.
Yep. Yeah, you look at this lineup, their season's numbers, their average. There's a chop to shortstop. Miller right there to Pierce to retire Maben. 1 up, 1 down. Let's check in now with Rich Hollenberg. Rich, what have you got for us?
Thanks, guys. Remember back to September 28th, 2014? Steven Souza Jr. certainly does. He was a defensive replacement in left field for the Nats' final game of the regular season. And in the 9th, he made this unbelievable grab to make the final out and preserve Jordan Zimmerman's no-hitter, who, of course, we're facing today. I showed Souza Jr. that video this morning in the clubhouse, and he watched in stunned silence like it just happened yesterday. He said what makes it even more surreal is that his parents were actually at the game. They flew from Washington State all the way to Washington, D.C., not to see him play, but to see him receive the International League Player of the Year award for the Nats organization. So I guess right here next to this Al Kaline statue making a great grab kind of brings that Souza grab to mind, huh?
Well, that was a great catch without question, and one that Zimmerman was grateful for.
You know what the best part of that video is after contact, the reaction of Jordan Zimmerman tells you all you need to know. He had already in his mind said, oh, I just lost a no-hitter. I mean, he looks up in the sky. I mean, he just had completely ruled out any chance of that ball being caught. And then Souza Jr. goes and does that.
3-1 to Jared Saltalamacchia. And a walk to the Detroit catcher. Saltalamacchia heads to first. Andrew Romine, switch hitting infielder. Pretty handy guy for the Tigers to have around. He can play all over the place. In fact, played some center field. He'll play anywhere on the infield. Shoots this one down the line toward the corner off the 330 marker. Saltalamacchia is going to be waved around. The throw will be up the line, and into third base goes Romine. And the Tigers are right back in front on the walk to Saltalamacchia. And Andrew Romine hitting a rope off the wall in right.
That's the first thing that went wrong, is you walk the 8-hole hitter, Saltalamacchia, and then Romine, you saw just 1 for 16 on the year, and you throw him a changeup. I don't understand that pitch selection right there at all. There's nothing to change up off of at this point. It becomes like a BP fastball, and almost got it out of here.
Yeah, and you get Saltalamacchia with a full head of steam. You're not really big on standing in front of him either.
No. He's a big man. I just don't understand why you go change up there.
Now the infield pulled up, and there's a strike to Kinsler.
There it is. I mean, this is your 9-hole hitter, and that just is a BP fastball is what it is, because nothing's been established. The changeup, not necessarily the right pitch there. Absolutely not the right pitch there.
Down to short, scoop by Miller. Close. Romine must remain at third. So Kinsler is retired. The only thing, and I'm right there with you, you know, it's a new day. Interestingly enough, Romine was 3 for 6 against Archer in his career. But it's a new day today.
It is.
And the point you make about a changeup, there has to be something to set it up.
Yeah, right.
That's why it's a changeup.
Right. Now, if this is Romine's second at-bat of the day, okay, fine. You want to throw him a first pitch changeup, but first at-bat, there's nothing been established. It just, I mean, it's easy to say that now because he tripled off of it. He pops it up.
Yeah,
but you still say, but why would you, throw that pitch? I mean, they have their reasons.
1-1 the count on J.D. Martinez. So the Tigers come right back and regain the lead. 3-2 now.
And that has to be what it is, really, is the past success. But like you made the point, the new day.
Down to third. Longoria makes the play and the throw. Martinez out of there. Walk and a triple and a run scores. 3-2 Detroit. The Tigers lead the Rays. The cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Will take heart when you look at the offense the Rays have generated on this road trip, averaging 8.4 runs a game and hitting .356 with men in scoring position.
Would you have thought that taking off from that Oakland series?
No.
That was possible.
No. After that tough loss with Oakland, unless we bring it up, it's almost forgotten.
Right.
Yep. But no way you'd think that they would come up with this kind of offense on this trip.
I guess that series stuck in their craw a little bit. An angry bunch when they got to Toronto.
We talked about that a little bit. The Blue Jays and Texas, after their fracas, stumbled a little bit. You think, well, something like that might fire you up. But a loss, the way the Rays suffered one on that last game of the homestand, I think is more devastating and therefore more impact felt than having a big brawl like Texas and Toronto did. And the Rays responded. You couldn't have responded any better than they did.
25 runs the first two games against two undefeated pitchers in Happ and Stroman. And Toronto really hasn't recovered from that series. They're still, middling around. Got beat by the Twins yesterday. Twins have, 10 wins on the season? Almost like 10-30. And they changed the lineup. Jose Bautista was hitting leadoff. Some of the veterans on the team went to the coaching staff and laid out a case on why they thought the lineup needed to be changed. I think they're just searching for anything that would work right now.
Well, you see the Yankees have overtaken them. The Rays third, 5.5 back of Baltimore. Boston a game out.
Well, they came out today and have told teams that Drew Storen is available if anybody's interested.
Fly ball into right. Martinez is there and makes the catch. Brandon Guyer is the first out. Well, there was that word when we were up there, 40 games in, they were going to reevaluate. And then we saw the other day where John Gibbons got a vote of confidence.
Can you reject that? Because those don't ever seem to work well.
Yeah, once that happens, you start looking over your shoulder.
In fact, don't they call it the dreaded vote of confidence?
Wow. You got a club that is not playing all that well. And some thought about making some changes and rethinking where they are. High pop up there, caught by Roman, the shortstop. Brad Miller is out number 2 against Jordan Zimmerman. Well, the Blue Jays have dropped 7 of their last 10. Yankees have won 7 of their last 10.
Quietly.
Yeah, to get out of the basement.
Trying to sneak up the ladder a little bit.
Now Evan Longoria pitches down. Evan ended the top of the first with a fly ball to left. That's a strike, 1-1. And not to shortchange the Twins, they have won 11 games. Pitch popped up, right side. That's Cabrera. 1, 2, 3, go the Rays. And we're headed into the bottom half of the third. 3-2 Detroit. Three to two. We go to the bottom of the third. Detroit Tigers lead. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Rays will be taking on the Marlins going into Miami. The Citrus Series starts to heat up. And Giancarlo Stanton right there now.
Little updating, Dwayne.
0 for 18 with 16 strikeouts.
That's hard to believe.
That seems impossible. Miguel Cabrera takes ball 1. There's a shot deep into center. Jennings will go to the wall, and that one is gone. Miguel Cabrera hits his 9th home run of the year. He hit a monster shot here the other night. Got that one out to center. It's 4-2.
We have seen Miguel Cabrera start to flex his muscles in this series. And each home run just continues to I want to say amaze, but that ball down in the zone. To get a ball down in the zone and to drop the barrel on it like that, and then to get the carry to get it out over 420 in center field is just...
You know, we've talked about how big this ballpark is. Cabrera hits him out of here with ease.
I mean, that was a very high fly. I mean, it's a fly ball. That's 420. Imagine where that's at Tropicana Field. On top of the restaurant bouncing around up there. The rafters. I mean, it just, your jaw drops.
Take a look at this. There's liftoff. And a base hit lined over the head of Longoria and into left. Victor Martinez is aboard. Well, take a look at all of this. The right-handed hitter, why hit him out to left? 5 to right and 3 to center field.
If you've got that kind of strength and you can let that ball, you know, get into the zone and you know, get your eyes on it just a hair longer. You know, the 3 that he's hit to center, we've seen 2 of them. We saw 1 of them to right.
Well, the Rays have a big conference on the mound. Jim Hickey out there on the hill. Paul Nart headed out there to break it up. Nobody out in this inning. Nick Castellanos stepping in. A ball, no strikes. The home run by Cabrera, the 10th home run given up by Archer this year. A little close to Castellanos. 2-0. That's 10 home runs in just over 51 innings. And 4 runs today for Detroit. And they're at the knees, 2-1. A big cut, 2-2.
I didn't think that Nick Castellanos thought that Chris Archer was going to come in a 2-0 count and come with back-to-back sliders. That's exactly what he did. He pulled off that one, looking to drive something into left field.
And now he survives up there, fouling that one off.
Yeah, that was a good one by Chris, down and away. You know, Castellanos, what we saw at his last at-bat too. Up to 2 strikes, he is looking to jerk. I mean, you can see that front side open up. He's looking for a mistake out over the plate that he can hit with authority to left field. With 2 strikes, we've seen him, you know, expand that zone a little bit, expand his zone as far as fouling pitches off, being able to cover that ball down and away and not pulling off so much.
And the count is now full. High fly ball into center. This is going to send Jennings to the track, and he leaps and misjudges the leap. Ball got beyond him. And Martinez winds up at third. Castellanos at second. And it appeared that Jennings might pull off another outstanding catch out there, but misconnected on that leap.
You know, another ball hit extremely hard. Jennings covering a lot of ground. You know, I wonder if he thought that he was at the wall there. You know, you almost sense the shadow out there on the warning track. But yeah, just a mistimed jump, the ball off the glove. Unfortunate break here for the Rays.
Second and third, nobody out for Steven Moya. Pitch is down. There's Jennings again out there.
I mean, that's the look of someone looking to rob, you know, a home run. Kind of count those steps and then get ready to make a jump, but he wasn't at the wall yet.
A big swing and a miss by Moya. That's been the challenge for Moya. 6'6", 24-year-old outfielder. He struck out 162 times last year at Toledo and 500 at bats. Pitch is wide. 2-1. So Moya with very good power. Hit 35 home runs a couple years ago at the AA level. This one is fouled. 2-2. Rays get some action in their bullpen here in the third. It's Webb starting to loosen.
Well, there have been a lot of balls hit extremely hard, a lot of loud contact by this Tiger offense. And I'll tell you what, if we're playing in any other park but Comerica Park, probably a couple more home runs.
Yeah,
those
you're
balls
right.
to center field.
Home run by Cabrera to start the inning. Victor Martinez single, then the double to center by Castellanos. 2-2 the count on Moya. Now we're going to go all the way to 3-2.
And that was a, you know, Casale was calling for the fastball up. He had the glove up, calling for it up, and that got yanked into the ground. That's a pitch where really the location is missed by 4 or 5 feet.
And a swing and a miss gets away from Casale. Wide throw to first. Pierce tries to tag him. Cannot do that, and the bases are going to be loaded. Victor Martinez thought about coming down the line, but put the brakes on. Remained at third. So Moya strikes out, but reaches. Still nobody out in the inning. A wild pitch. The 5th of the year charged to Archer.
Bad to worse. A good slider, a good result. Ball gets away from Casale. He's got to make the throw from the knees, and it's a little bit wide. Pierce cannot get back in time, and the Tigers now, boy, oh boy.
They're loaded. The infield comes up. Cameron Maben, who's been red hot since coming off the DL, in the batter's box. Upstairs. Fastball misses. And he gets a strike there. 1-1. It's been a challenge for Archer with command today. The chop is going to go through the right side. Martinez scores. Castellanos heads to the plate. He's in there safely. 2 more runs cross the plate. 6-2 now. Maben chops it through. Moya stopped at second.
Well, and Maben's just making contact. You see the Rays defense, they're pulled up, and that harmless little chopper is going to get over the head and through the hole and lead to 2 more Tiger runs. This has been a nightmare start in this ball game for the Rays.
Still nobody out of the inning. Moya, who's at second, struck out but reached on the wild pitch. Jared Saltalamacchia. Strike 1. Saltalamacchia walked his first time. This one covered up by Casale. Two runs in the first, a run in the second, and now 3 in the third. Saltalamacchia fouls it off his foot.
If you're going to attack Saltalamacchia down in the zone, it better be down below the zone. He's another one of those left-handed hitters who likes to get the arms extended, likes the ball down and out over the plate. So if you're going to go that route, you got to get it down there.
Pitch foul back.
And that's exactly why you see when you go back to the fastball, go ahead and try to elevate it. You can even go a little bit higher than that and go for the punch out.
Archer 25 pitches into this inning, still looking for the first out. Two and two. Saltalamacchia, big cut and a miss. So the Rays register the first out in the Detroit half of the third inning. Rays have your back when facing down the summer heat. Take home a Rays backpack cooler presented by Pepsi when the Rays face the Yankees coming up Saturday, May 28th. And keep your splashdown supply cool. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com today. Rays up. Andrew Romine. And the pitch is a strike. Slider to start him. Romine tripled off the right field wall his first time, giving him 2 for 17 on the year. Fastball away, up. 1-1. Romine, the number 9 hitter, hitting for the second time. 1-2. And every hitter for the Tigers has managed to reach base. We're just 1 out into the third.
That pretty much sums up the day so far.
fouled. Holds the count. 1-2. And a cut and a miss. So Romine is out on strikes. 2 gone.
That's the chase breaking ball that Chris Archer's looking for more consistency from. That one, it stays in the zone so long, you present it as a strike, and all of a sudden, it's gone.
So 2 gone. 3 strikeouts in the inning, but the first one, Moya reached on a wild pitch. Here's the top of the order, Ian Kinsler. Foul, slicing out of play and back into the stands.
Well, here's the thing. If you're the Rays, if you're Chris Archer, you've got to hang in there. You just go back and look at Jordan Zimmerman's last start. 7 innings, 11 hits. He gave up 8 runs. Got to win. He got to win. Not only did the team win, he hung around long enough for a win. So that's the type of game you got to turn this into.
Kinsler takes a strike, and now he's not happy.
And if the Rays are just average in this game, according to the road trip numbers, they'll win because they're averaging 8.4
right.
runs a game.
Yep.
Win 8.5 to 6.
I like the way you're game planning.
You got to stay interested, Dwayne.
Yeah. It's a foul ball.
I like that swing. How about that? You want to talk about just fighting a pitch off. Ian Kinsler getting a kick out of that swing. Get off me.
There's a great stop there by Casale. Moves the count to 1-2. High shot back into left. Geyer at the track. He's going to have room and makes the catch to retire the side. Towering fly ball. 8 men come to the plate. It's now 6-2 Detroit through 3. Archer and the Rays. Tigers score 3 against the Rays when they face the Yankees Sunday, May 29th. Kids 14 and under can play catch with their very own Velcro toss and catch set presented by Matchup Promotions. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up.
Those are great tools when you're teaching the young ones how to start to play catch before they can handle a glove and break one in.
Steve Pearce leading off. Pearce, Souza Jr., and Morrison. 2-0 the count.
Trying to think of how I could get my hands on a couple of those and exploit them.
The high pop. Castellanos at third. Ooh. Boy, this sky right now is a high sky.
Not a cloud in it, and there's just nothing. There's no depth perception. There's no perspective. That ball goes up there and sometimes just gets lost up there.
Steven Souza Jr. takes a strike. One and one. Souza reached on an infield hit his first time and scored on Logan Morrison's home run. Zimmerman picks up a strike on the corner. 1-2. And strike 3 call. 2 up and 2 down.
So often you see the slider to a right-handed hitter working down and away. Right there, Jordan Zimmerman with the front door slider. Hitter gives up on it, expecting that ball to be off the plate, and it drops right into the zone.
Logan Morrison homered in the second inning, and there was little doubt about that one. We'll take another look at that. We got up 2-1 and the count, drilled it out of here.
Now that would become a welcome sight to this lineup. Morrison's been swinging the bat great. We know he's got power. There's power up and down this Rays lineup, and that's why, even in a game like this, the way they've been swinging the bats, they're never out of it. That's the attitude that they've got to take.
And Logan has done interesting amount of damage. He came in just 3 for 18 against Zimmerman, but 2 of those were home runs, so he's 4 for 19 now off him. 3 of those hits home runs. Chops it fair down at first. Cabrera makes the play unassisted. Bottom of the 4th coming up. It's 6-2 Detroit. Archer's had a tough day, and his day seems to be complete. 3 innings. Miguel Cabrera singled in the center in a 2-run first inning. Andrew Romine tripled off the wall in right. Miguel Cabrera just so easily sent that one into orbit to center field. That led off the 3-run third. So after 3, Archer with 77 pitches and 6 runs allowed gives way to Ryan Webb.
Well, Ryan Webb is on for the 15th time, a 375 earned run average in 12 innings. And you go back and think about, Chris Archer, there was a lot going on there. There was some bad counts. There was some questionable pitch selection, and an awful lot of loud contact by this Tiger lineup. Didn't seem like they were fooled by much.
J.D. Martinez will lead off the bottom of the 4th. And he jumps on the first one, lines it on one hop to left, and he's aboard for the second time.
For Ryan Webb, he's got to be down in the zone to let the sinker do its thing. And it seems like a lot of the pitches have been flat. That one was a little bit up. When they're up, they're going to be flat. And when they're down, guys are recognizing them as down and taking them. That's been the struggle for Ryan.
Here's Miguel Cabrera. 2 RBIs today with a single and a home run. That a fair ball in and out of the glove of Longoria. Now no play. Evan on a backhand attempt got there. That ball sharply hit, but it popped out, and that's a base hit for Cabrera.
Evan Longoria covering the line down there at third base, and that ball was sharply hit. It just rattled, came out of the glove, that's all. Rolled over that sinker, bounces away, no play.
So the Tigers continue to keep the pressure on. 2 men aboard, nobody out. And now Victor Martinez is the hitter. Martinez, the DH, singled and scored in the 3rd, first time up. Hit the ball to the warning track in center field, and Desmond Jennings did a great job to run that one down and catch it. Sharply hit to first. Pierce to second, one, and back to first. They get the double play. Over to third base goes Martinez. Nice pickup by Pierce to start the double play.
Sure was. He's right down there on the line for Victor Martinez. This is the thing that Ryan Webb gives you. He can give up, a hit here or there, but he always has that ability. And the thought is, because of the ground balls that he gets, give up a base hit, turn around and get a double play. And that's what happened. One more out, get out of this inning.
Nick Castellanos will bat. He doubled and scored in the 3rd. That's a first pitch strike. Takes the slider in there. Two. 0-2 to Castellanos, and he is out on strikes. Chase that one. So a couple of hits, double play ball, and no runs. On to the fifth. Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Hawaii's Kona Brewing Company. By Toyota. Let's go places. And by FDOT. Drive sober or get pulled over. Fifth inning underway with the first pitch strike called on Desmond Jennings. Tim Beckham next, and then Kurt Casale. The Rays today facing Jordan Zimmerman. 1-1 the count. And a bunt. Zimmerman off the mound with the toss now. And Jennings is out at first trying to bunt his way on.
Well, and you know, with speed that Desmond Jennings has, that's not a bad play. You've got to get it. If it's a pitcher that's, you know, can get off the mound, you've got to bunt it hard enough to get it by him. If not, and this is obviously what can happen. You've got a guy up there who's a statue. Just get it down and beat him to the baseball. If a guy can move off the mound a little bit, you've got to punch it by him out towards second base to get that hit.
Pitch fouled back. We're one out into the fifth inning. 59 pitches for Zimmerman. He's had a couple of complete games, one in a loss when he made just 76 pitches, and another complete game, 85 pitches. How about that?
Absurd. You're talking a little over 9 pitches. The first one was at, you know, what, an 8 inning?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking 9.5 pitches an inning. I mean, there's efficiency, and then there's that. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, left to his own device, if a hitter doesn't step out and try to break up his rhythm out there, I mean, he'll get it, throw it, ball's in play before you know it.
That was a good rhyme. Get it, throw it, ball's in play before you know it. Good job. Little haiku.
Hey, just doing what we can do. You
Sunday
know?
haiku.
1-2 the count on Beckham. Two. Well, Beckham getting a start. Foul out of play. Tim got a start Wednesday against the Blue Jays. Had a couple of two-base hits in that game and scored 2 runs. The Rays won that one 6-3 to wrap up the series. Came in here to Detroit, won the first game 7-5. Lost yesterday 5-4 and down today. That's going to take the count full with Beckham laying off the pitch.
Well, there was Jordan Zimmerman and Jared Saltalamacchia trying to exploit Paul Nart and maybe that wide strike zone, trying to take that fastball just off, seeing if they would get the call, but he was not willing to go that far.
And he does there. Beckham out on strikes.
That's the more traditional chase slider. Saw the front door to Souza Jr. to get him looking. That's the way you normally see it used, down and away for a chase off the plate. Just cannot hold up on the swing.
It's 9 in a row retired by Zimmerman. Kurt Casale with a 1-0 count. That's a strike. Casale fouls it out of play. 1-2. Rays got their 2 runs in the second inning when Souza Jr. beat out an infield hit, and then Logan Morrison hit one out. Tigers had scored 2 in the first. The home run by Morrison tied the game at the time, but the Tigers scored a run in the bottom of the second and 3 in the third. We're now in the top of the 5th. Casale taking that pitch to square the count. 2-2. Logan Morrison, the DH for the Rays today. There's a liner, and it's grabbed by Kinsler. The second baseman, Ian Kinsler, with a backhand grab, prevented Casale from getting that one through into center. 1-2-3 go the Rays. 6-2 Detroit. Up from Detroit, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Brian Webb on the hill for the Rays, facing Stephen Moya. 1 strike. Webb gave up a couple of hits in the 4th, but got a double play ball and a strikeout. Pretty good formula right there to hold his club scoreless for an inning. Fly ball into left, and Geyer takes care of that. One away. The strike. Maben single home a couple of runs in the 3rd. Oh, 2. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Saltalamacchia will be next. And that takes care of Maben.
Well, how about the finish on that pitch right there? Yeah, we saw him get Nick Castellanos in a strikeout to end the previous inning, the 4th. And boy, that ball just, that's the kind of movement you're looking for. I think that was his changeup too, at 86 miles an hour, straight down.
Jared Saltalamacchia has walked and scored. Struck out his other time up. Sends a fly ball into left center field. Geyer did not get a good read on that one initially, but got there in time to make the catch. We're through 5. 6-2 Detroit. With 2 runs in the 1st, Miguel Cabrera's singled, scored J.D. Martinez, who had driven in a run. Rays got those 2 runs back when Logan Morrison connected with Steven Souza Jr. in the 2nd inning. But in the bottom of the 2nd, Andrew Romine tripled off the right field wall, scoring Jared Saltalamacchia. That made it 3-2. And the Tigers did not stop there in the 3rd. Cabrera leading off with a home run to center field. Before the inning was over, Cameron Maben singled home 2 more. And the Tigers have built a 6-2 lead. Rays coming in to hit in the 6th inning, and they'll have the top of the order. Brandon Guyer.
And this is where you want to make your move. You've got the top of the order getting a look at Zimmerman here for the third time. You're down 4 runs. It's getting late. This is the time to push it a little bit.
Guyer pops it up on the right side. Kinsler backpedaling from second base into the outfield. So Guyer now 1 for 3.
And it won't be easy because what we're seeing from Jordan Zimmerman is he is pitching now. He's working the Rays in and out, up and down, changing speeds.
Well, he can give you a ton of quality innings. It's going to be somewhere around a couple hundred innings a year. He's established that. And if you can get enough of that, then there's some stability in your pitching rotation. What the Tigers really love about him. There's a chop, and he'll glove this one. Make the throw to first. So a couple of quick outs in the 6th inning. Rays players need your support to get to the 2016 MLB All-Star Game. Go to RaysBaseball.com/vote to submit your ballot for all your favorite Rays players, including Kiermaier, Sousa, Longoria, Dickerson, and Forma. You can vote up to 5 times every day. Go to RaysBaseball.com/vote now. Here's Evan Longoria. Evan with a 9-game hitting streak and 0 for 2. Zimmerman breaking out in front with a strike. 1-1. One and 2. Upstairs, 2 and 2.
You know, Dwayne, we were talking about Zimmerman and the innings, the innings that he will give you. He's completed 7 innings in 5 of his 8 starts coming into play today, and has pitched into the 7th in 7 of the 8.
Yeah, including that 10-8 win over the Twins when he gave up 8 runs, 7 earned.
On 11 hits and still get out there for 7 innings. That's,
you know, he did that in 109 pitches. He gave up 8 runs, 11 hits, and 7 innings in 109 pitches. He didn't walk anybody. He had 9 strikeouts, but no walks.
That's right. Now let's do the math here. So, we like to do math, and I know that I told you there would be no math, but there is. So, 7 innings, you're going to get 21 outs.
Yep.
So 21 outs, you've given up 11 hits. That's 32 separate ABs right there. Now,
yes.
No walks, no hit by pitch. So 109 divided by 32. He doesn't waste a lot of time. He's right after you.
Little tapper left side, charged by Castellanos with the barehanded pickup and safe at first base. So Evan with an infield hit extends his hitting streak to 10. You don't see a lot of infield hits now for Evan, but here is one.
Just not enough on the throw, and that's something that we've been seeing more and more of, is the Rays out of the box. That kind of effort, everybody. It really has become a trend with this team, and it serves Evan well there as he gets a hit.
Steve Pearce hit the ball to the wall in center field back in the 2nd inning, and Maben caught it back there.
I think Zimmerman just hurt his groin. I have done that before. He pushed through, and I think that he just strained a groin.
Well, the first pitch to Steve Pearce.
I saw him doing that last inning too.
Well, the Tigers gathering on the mound, and that's going to be it for Zimmerman.
The way that he falls off towards first base. It was an immediate reaction. An unfortunate way for your day to come to an end. Right there, push, and right there. Yep, that little hop, and he grabs down there. Know that feeling, and it's an awful feeling.
So we'll get a new pitcher, 5 2/3 for Zimmerman. We'll be right back. Sun is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Road trip moves on to Miami. That'll be tomorrow night when Matt Moore goes to the Hill for the Rays. We'll be with you at 6:30 on Fox Sports Sun. And BA, the Rays will face an old nemesis in Wei-In Chen, formerly of the Baltimore Orioles.
Honestly, you can't get away from him. I'm surprised that the Marlins aren't starting Chris Tillman the next day.
Well, Jake Odorizzi will pitch the second game. And then Matt Andriese and Drew Smiley for the Rays when that matchup switches back to Tropicana Field. It'll be Smiley and Jose Fernandez on the game Thursday. It's a Thursday afternoon at the Trop.
Man, that's a good matchup right there. No question about it. Drew Smyly and of course Fernandez, electric stuff.
Drew Verhagen will take over for the injured Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman made 82 pitches, 5 hits, a couple of runs, responsible for a runner on as he leaves. So Verhagen in the game, and he makes his 19th appearance and will inherit an 0-1 count to Steve Pearce.
Well, and you never like to see anybody get injured. There's no question about that, but you know, this is the Rays' opportunity here in the Tiger bullpen that has not thrown the ball well this year.
Verhagen's pitch is high. 1 ball, no strikes. Takes it to 1-2. Verhagen was in the game for an inning Friday night. He followed Anibal Sanchez and Kyle Ryan to the mound. He was the third of 5 pitchers in that game. Just missed. Takes it to 2-2. Now full count. Verhagen, 25 years old, was in 20 games last year for the Tigers. The chopper headed toward the middle. That's going to go through into center. Longoria will go to third, and the Rays will have men on the corners. Well, first and third now for the Rays with 2 outs. And Steven Souza Jr., boy, he gets hold of one. It's a brand new game.
Well, chopper right here. Just playing pepper with the middle of the field. Finds a hole. And yeah, you've given yourself a chance. You know, you always wonder too when a guy gets injured and a pitcher has to come in out of the bullpen, you just warm up in front of the other team. I mean, it's so awkward to me. You know, a lot of guys probably rush it. You know, everybody's kind of waiting on you. You're throwing your bullpen, usually done quietly, out in the pen, but you're doing it right in front of the opposition, letting them get a good look at everything that you're going to come at them with.
Pretty good breaking ball to Souza to start him. Strike 1.
Oh, man.
And there is strike 2.
Yeah, that is a filthy curveball. Sharp and a ton of depth to it.
This one in the dirt, popping away, and Pearce will take a base, moving up to second.
Yeah, it may not seem like much, but a heads-up play there by Steve Pearce. Now you dribble another one through, and the Rays have a chance for 2 runs.
Wild pitch charged to Verhagen. Longoria, Zimmerman's runner. Pearce at second. How about that one? Had him leaning away. Did not break over. And it's 2-2. Souza Jr. out on strikes. So the Rays leave 2 in scoring position and trail 6-2. game. We move into the bottom of the 6th inning. This summer, some of the biggest names in soccer converge on the United States for the 100th anniversary of one of the world's biggest tournaments. Coverage of the Copa America Centenario begins June 3rd across the networks of Fox Sports. Ryan Webb out there again for the Rays. Has 2 innings under his belt. It's his longest outing of the year. Andrew Romine has fouled away the first pitch. Webb's first outing of the year against the Blue Jays was for an inning and a third. And until today, that was his longest.
You see the pitch count, and that's the one thing that he can do is he can be efficient and give you some innings because of the fact that so many balls are put in play right away. Throws strikes, a lot of sinkers.
He's ahead in the count here, 1-2. And a couple of 7-pitch innings. And Romine chases this one. Casale gets the angle and makes the throw down to first. So strikeout number 3 for Ryan Webb.
Well, guys like Ryan Webb, sinker ballers that want to, get early contact, use their infielders, and have that kind of movement on their pitches, they'll tell you they want to be used. They want regular use, and you could see as this outing has continued to go for Ryan Webb, he's gotten sharper and sharper.
In Kinsler. Pitch is inside. Kinsler singled back in the first and scored on the double by J.D. Martinez to put the Tigers out in front. Two and 0. Kinsler lifts this one foul out of play, and it's a 2-1 count. Popped up. Foul ball. Casale's after it. So is Pierce. Going to be Casale covering some ground to go to the front of the Rays dugout to catch that one.
Yeah, nice job of tracking that by Kurt Casale, and he was not at all, concerned with Steve Pierce coming close. Kept his eyes on that ball the whole way, which is what you have to do on a day like this, and make the catch, put it away. Eyes never leave.
Two up, two down. Here's J.D. Martinez. He's 2 for 3 on the day.
You do realize we just broke down a pop-up to the catcher. And by saying we, I mean me.
Well, it's a partnership.
Take ownership.
1-0 the count to J.D. Martinez. Yeah, but that's not easily done from where he was to cover that kind of ground at number 1 and find it.
Yeah, that's true. Especially on a day like today where pop-ups are a lot tougher than they would appear, or can be anyway.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple of the outfielders have a challenge in tracking some of them. Geyer had 1 or 2 out there. He made the play, but boy, you've got to stay with it. Martinez now down 1 and 2.
That is exactly the kind of movement that Ryan Webb wants. And when he's out there working regularly, that's what he can give you. Ton of sink.
2-2. Strikeout of Romine, and then the pop foul by Kinsler. 2-2 to J.D. Martinez. And he pops him up. That's Beckham backpedaling into center field. And it's a 1-2-3 sixth. Nice job by Webb. 6-2 Tigers. Nice job by Ryan Webb, giving the Rays 3 innings there in relief. Well, here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Rays taking on the Marlins, and we'll hear from Matt Moore, who'll be making the start, and Emily Austin will tour Marlins Park. So we'll be joined by Emily Austin tomorrow in Miami.
She's going to tour the park.
Yes.
Let's hope that the Clevelander in left field is very at the bottom of her list, because I have a sneaking suspicion once she gets there, she's not going to leave. She won't get to any other place.
Could be the grand finale.
I think it should be. You look at that ballpark. Todd always makes a trip down there. We don't see him until Game 3.
Yep. Well, the Rays trying to do something here in the 7th inning. Logan Morrison leading it off. 1-1 to count. Morrison homered in the 2nd inning, facing Verhagen and his big breaking ball. There's a high fly ball left side, and Moya could not hang on to that. Moya got across the line, tried a sliding catch, and could not make it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room down there where he got into foul territory, and you see kind of a slide as he's going into the wall to try to make that catch. Went a long way for naught.
I think that got him down around the ankle. Two and two. Two the count. It's fouled right back over the screen. 2-2. And the count goes full. Well, Rays had a couple runners in the 6th inning, but with 2 outs and left them there at 2nd and 3rd. Hey, ball 4. So leadoff walk drawn by Morrison. So as this game moves into the later stages, the Rays trying to put something together to overcome a 4-run deficit.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to make a move here. They will. This Detroit bullpen has not been very good. The way that Jordan Zimmerman was throwing the ball, you wonder about him because he was in a really good rhythm, moving the ball around well. But to get into the bullpen, you're going to get a chance.
Ground ball off the bat of Jennings. Romine Kinsler, and out at 2nd on the exchange. So they get the force. Jennings reaches on the fielder's choice. So that's a 6-4. With Morrison forced at 2nd.
This would not have been good for the Rays because this looked like a tailor-made double play, and that ball just comes loose on the transfer, and the Rays benefit. Well, that would have been a tough after the walk, a quick double play to erase it.
Tim Beckham. 1 ball, no strikes. Beckham with a base hit, 1 for 2. High fly ball back into center. Maben's going to go to the track. He will not catch this one. Gone to center by Tim Beckham. So the Rays get 2 quick ones right there on Beckham's home run, and it's 6-4.
Well, that didn't take long. Tigers had an opportunity to turn a double play. They don't get it done, and Tim Beckham goes out to center field. This ball is blasted. Little hanger there by Verhagen, and here you go. There's one opportunity. You're down to 2 runs. You've got a couple of innings to play with.
Well, Beckham had a couple of 2 base hits when he started last Wednesday in Toronto. Rays wound up winning that game 6-3, and he has unloaded his 2nd home run of the year out to center field and cut the deficit in half. It's now 6-4.
And you just get the feeling that Detroit cannot win this game with 6 runs. They can't win this game with 6 runs. That's just how it feels.
Beckham's other home run also on this road trip came off Jay Happ, and that was a shot to center in Toronto. Kurt Casale takes a pitch down. Rays with 2 home runs today, giving him 63 for the year. Ground ball headed to the shortstop, Romine. His throw is there in time. So Kurt Casale is retired. Two-run game now, thanks to Tim Beckham. And now we go to the top of the batting order with 2 outs. Geyer 1 for 3, and there's a base hit into left field. He'll make the turn, gonna dig for 2. Moya's throw's not gonna be in time, and there's some hustle by Brandon Geyer to get himself into scoring position.
I tell you, that really has become a trend with this team. Guys are getting out of the box hot and thinking every single or seemingly every single, this ball getting down the line somewhat, but everybody's saying, forcing these outfielders to keep them at first base. If not, they're going to push the envelope, and by doing so, you get that chance. Look how far that Moya has to go. And Brandon Guyer by this time is sliding in.
Well, Saltalamacchia went out to the mound to take up some time, and now with the left-hander heating in the bullpen and Brad Miller due, Brad Ausmus comes out to make a pitching change. So we'll see the third Detroit pitcher of the day when we return. Here, reminder, Rays fans, make sure to tune in tomorrow for game 1 of the Citrus Series presented by Checkers. Rays Live pregame begins at 6:30 as the Rays take on the Marlins right here on Fox Sports Sun. Citrus Series coming up.
Big, well, I know. Are you excited?
Yeah, Todd's already studying.
Well, he is.
Yep.
He is. I saw his. Saw his notes.
Yep.
They're copious.
Well, the pitching change brings in the left-hander Kyle Ryan. Brad Miller due up, but Ryan will not face Miller. And Mikey Montouk, who's just joined the club up from AAA Durham, will pinch hit. So here's Montouk. He just recently back from an oblique injury at AAA and had been swinging the bat pretty well for the Durham Bulls. With the injury to Kiermaier, Montouk gets the call.
And what about the way that he ended up the season last year with the Rays?
Oh, he was red hot, and that's something that Kevin Cash talked about prior to the game today, and hoping that that will continue, and it gives Mikey Montouk a big opportunity. Pitch down and in, a ball and no strikes. Rays saw Ryan for an inning here on Friday and did pick up a run off him. In fact, Kevin Kiermaier tripled against him. Two and 0. Dana Evelyn had been throwing. Erasmo Ramirez up to join him. Montouk ahead in the count, 2-0. Chops it foul. 2 balls and a strike. And a good look at that pitch down, 3-1. Well, took it at 333 at Durham, and since returning from that oblique injury, 375, 9 out of 24. Ground ball headed towards short, backhanded by Romine. Throw to first is in time. Rays leave a man at second, but they pick up 2 runs on the Tim Beckham home run, scoring Desmond Jennings in front of him. And they've cut the deficit. We're in the middle of the 7th. It's a 6-4 ball game now. Game summary finds the Rays down by a couple, 6-4. Couple of 2-run home runs for the Rays. Logan Morrison in the 2nd, Tim Beckham in the 7th. Tough start for Chris Archer, who gave up all 6 runs in 3 innings. Miguel Cabrera has a 3-for-3 day going. J.D. Martinez has driven in a run. Cabrera 2. Maben with 2 runs batted in, and Romine tripled home the other one.
Well, this was that shot by Miguel Cabrera, down and out over the plate. Deep center field. That was the home run today, but look at the numbers on the series. Half of his hits are homers, 5 runs driven in. And he's capable of these types of runs, you know, breaking out at any time. Such an accomplished hitter.
Well, Dana Evelyn will be the new pitcher. Boy, 3 very good innings from Ryan Webb. Struck out 3, gave up a couple of hits, no walks and no runs. So Evelyn is the new pitcher. Taylor Motter will take over at shortstop.
Very, very impressed with Ryan Webb, and it seemed like, much like finesse and sinker ball type guys, the longer the outing went, the better he got. The 2 hits that he gave up were the first 2 hitters he faced.
Yeah, oh, the first pitch from Evelyn hits Cabrera on the foot. Might have been a little above that.
On that knee and shin area. The ball just got yanked in, and there was just no chance for Miguel Cabrera to be able to get out of the way, and that got him pretty good. You could see Ginger.
So Cabrera hit by a pitch to start the bottom of the 7th. Here it is.
Breaking ball. Just a breaking ball that got yanked, tracking in.
Yeah, on the outside, below the knee there.
Absolutely nothing that you could do. And there, when you get down into that shin area, there's no padding. I mean, there's nothing down there. I mean, it's just skin and bone, and you get hit down there, and it is going to smart.
So Cabrera slowly making his way down to first base. So Victor Martinez due up. Cabrera hit by a pitch. Talking with the first base coach down there, Omar Vizquel.
Well, I think Steve Pearce is thinking right along with me with what just happened.
Well, I tell you, Vizquel. Vizquel says he's not doing too good down there.
No, and so Steve Pearce is not even going to hold him on. And he's not moving well at all.
Victor Martinez takes the pitch for a strike. Well, Vizquel got the attention of the dugout and pointed to Cabrera with thumbs down.
Yeah, and Cabrera just gave a thumbs down.
It's 1-1.
Now they're calling time now. He's going to shut it down.
Cabrera calling time from the first base umpire, and they're going to get a runner. Jose Iglesias is going to run for Cabrera. So Cabrera limps off. Counts 1-1 to Victor Martinez. And that's fouled up the right side. Going to be out of the reach of Pearce. So Victor Martinez with a big cut. He's out on strikes. That's the first out after the hit batter. Nick Castellanos will be the hitter. Over to first, back in there, Iglesias. pretty close right there. Just missing with that pitch. It's 1-0. Rays have made it a 2-run game. Evelyn trying to hold the Tigers in the bottom of the 7th inning.
You got a couple more cracks in the way the Rays have been hitting home runs.
Foul ball, 1-1.
You combine that with the way that the Detroit bullpen has struggled, really have struggled getting, that bridging that gap between the starter and Francisco Rodriguez, who's been very good as their closer. 12 out of 13 in saves, but getting that game to him has been the tough part.
And there's ball 2. Evelyn's been around that zone. Look at those pitches. It's 2-1.
Well, not according to Fox Tracks.
Well, fly ball into right. Souza Jr. got a late jump, and now that ball's by him. Jennings goes over to pick it up. It's going to be second and third. So Castellanos winds up at second base on a little fly ball into shallow right.
Well, let's see if we can see Souza Jr. coming in. Yeah, just a little bit of a hesitation causes him to have to dive. And that is unfortunately what can happen. A do or die type of dive in a play right here. And if it gets by you, it's extra bases. Well, a couple of plays in the outfield today. You think about the mistimed jump from Desmond Jennings, a play that he got there. Had to go a long way. It was a ball hit deep, but he definitely got there in time. Didn't make that play, and then a little bit of hesitation right there cost Souza Jr. a chance to be able to make that catch. Ended up about a foot short.
Jim Hickey has his say on the mound. Rays just got 2 in the top, and now the Tigers threaten 2 men in scoring position. Justin Upton pinch hitting for Moya, and the Rays will walk him intentionally. So an intentional walk coming, a hit batter. What turned out to be a bloop double that got by Souza on the dive. And now the intentional walk. The bases will be loaded with Cameron Maybin due up. And as we've seen throughout the series, he's been red hot. He singled home 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Well, here's Maybin. Infield remains up with the bases loaded.
Do or die here because Cameron Maybin red hot facing a lefty. Now he does have a good sinker, Danny Evelyn.
There's a cut and a miss. Big swing by Maybin.
Yep. Right now for Dana Evelyn, it comes down to emptying the tank. All of your effort, everything goes into each pitch individually. Pick a pitch, pick a spot, execute it. And if you get to 2 strikes, now you look to punch him out.
And a tapper foul. So he's up to 0-2 on him.
Well, this is where you start to think, what's my best put-away pitch for this particular hitter? And you go for it. And if it's a breaking ball in the dirt, Kurt Casale's got to be ready to block it.
Iglesias at third, Castellanos second, Upton at first. And a little roller foul. Just a piece of that one.
That breaking ball covers so much ground. Well, we saw how much it covered when it swept in and hit Miguel Cabrera on the shin. It has depth. A lot of side-to-side movement, too, as Evelyn will sweep it all the way across the plate.
Way up and away.
Nice, nice play there by Casale to corral that fastball. That had visions of getting to the backstop. Wanting it in, it's up and away, and he's able to backhand it.
One, two. Line foul. Back with the breaking ball. Six runs, 11 hits for Detroit. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Rays. Rays have closed the gap, and a major threat by Detroit. Ooh, pretty close there. In and it's 2-2. And now the count is full. Santalamacchia is on deck. 3-2 the count to Maben. Maben has been in swing mode in the series and takes ball 4. That forces home a run. Boy, frustrating the way this run has developed. A hit batter, then a double on a late jump in right field. The intentional walk, and now Maben walks with the bases loaded to get a run home.
After being down 0-2. Hurts even more.
Jared Santalamacchia. Strike on the outside part of the plate. Steve Geltz loosening in the bullpen. Cutting a miss. Breaking ball to Santalamacchia, runs the count to 2 strikes. Foul out of play.
Cannot allow the Tigers to continue to build on this lead, and I know they got the bases loaded, just 1 out, but another 0-2 count to work with here.
Yeah, you really felt the Rays cutting it to 2 had some momentum building, and this flying in the face of that. And he got him. A big strikeout there of Santalamacchia. Two outs with the bases loaded, a run in. Andrew Romine is due up. Romine tripled in a run in the 2nd inning. And misses the breaking ball. Strike 1.
And had an awkward swing at it. Yeah, that's a tough pitch. It's moving in 2 different planes.
Tapper charged by Motter. Throw to first in time. Retires the side. Bases loaded walk. Gets a run home. We're through 7. Rays down by 3. All right, Todd, thank you very much. 7-4, the Tigers lead. Rays with 2 shots left here. They'll be facing Mark Lowe. Kyle Ryan got 1 out and now gives way to Lowe. He's on for the 18th time, and it's been a struggle for Lowe. They've counted on him to be the 8th inning guy here this year.
Now that you could see that in the numbers, 7 walks in 14 in the 3rd innings and an ERA of over 7.5. Rays hoping that he lives up to those numbers here this afternoon.
Andrew Romine over at first base now, moving there from shortstop. And the first pitch to Longoria is a ball. He checked in time. Justin Upton is now in left. And the shortstop, Jose Iglesias. Foul into the screen. 1-1. Longoria, Pierce, and Souza Jr. due up. Any deeper, Logan Morrison in the 8th inning. Rays with 4 runs, 8 hits today. A couple of 2-run home runs, one by Morrison, the other one by Tim Beckham. Longoria reaching for that one. A ball, 2 strikes. When Lowe is right, he gives you a lot of velocity on the fastball and a lot of depth on the slider.
You see him too as he comes sets, tall over the, on the rubber, and then all of a sudden he's like a drop and drive kind of guy. That leg kick, he just kind of everything collapses and he starts driving towards home plate, and your assessment of his pitches, Dwayne, is spot on.
2-2 now. Evan fouls this one out of play. Lowe worked the 9th inning in Friday's game, won by the Rays 7-5. Picked up a couple of strikeouts, including one of Longoria. Evan battling him to start the 8th. And there's ball 3. Zimmerman, Verhagen, and Ryan. And now Mark Lowe. There's a ground ball going to go through. Base hit into left. Longoria leading off the 8th with a single. It's his second hit of the day. And we'll get Steve Pearce up with one on and nobody out.
Got a pitch up in the zone. He got on top of it. He finds a hole. The Rays find a little bit of life here and see what they can turn it into.
Pierce singled in the 6th. Rays threatened in that inning, left 2 men on. It's a first pitch strike. And the Rays scored 2 on the home run by Beckham in the 7th and left Geyer on at second base. So they've had some opportunities to expand their output here in the last couple innings. By Pierce, that fastball up.
And there's the velocity that you were talking about, 95 miles an hour.
See another 0-2 pitch after that foul ball. Pierce 2 for 2 in his career against Lowe. Down 0-2 right now. Ground ball. There's a base hit out of the reach of Iglesias, and the Rays put the first 2 men on, building another threat here in the 8th inning. So for the 3rd straight inning, the Rays threatened to do something significant. So far out of those threats, they have a 2-run home run from Tim Beckham. And now it'll be Steven Souza Jr. with 2 men aboard and nobody out.
Just not anything to put Steve Pearce away with. That breaking ball not getting any depth. Pearce finds a hole. This Tiger bullpen, I'll tell you, it's got to be tough for Brad Ausmus to sit in there, and a game that seemingly he had under control. It's continually, it's been wobbly. Even though they got a 3-run lead now, it doesn't feel very safe.
Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, trying to get it straightened out here. See more action in the bullpen. That's Alex Wilson. Well, Souza had that base hit in the 2nd and rode home on Logan Morrison's home run. Couple of singles off Lowe to start the 8th. And he takes that first pitch for a ball. Souza opened the series Friday with a home run on the 2nd pitch of the game, connecting off Anibal Sanchez. Get a breaking ball out for his 9th. And there's ball 2.
These are the types of counts that lead to home runs. These could use one here.
He went 3-2 to Longoria, who singled, 0-2 to Pierce, who singled. Now he's 2-0 to Steven Souza Jr. And he fouls it back. He got a fastball out over the plate that time, Souza Jr. It's 2-1. fouls this one back.
Got
2-2.
Got a couple of pitches that he would like to see again, and you can see the frustration there. The fastball, okay, and then the hanging breaking ball, similar to the one that he popped out of here on Friday night.
Looking for another chance, Souza Jr. And he is out on strikes. Hello. Broke that one down and away.
Yeah, that's a case of truly saving the best for last. Works his way back from 2-0 to 2-2 and then drops this breaking ball on him.
That's the one that has been erratic for Lowe this year. The one they're looking for is the one he got Souza Jr. with.
Well, his whole arsenal, it doesn't work if that pitch doesn't work. You know, the fastball can be as good as you want it, but he needs that slider. And if it's erratic, well, then his year is going to be erratic. And that's what it's been up to this point. Last couple have been better.
It's a first pitch strike to Logan Morrison. Logan is homered and walked in between, a ground ball to first. Fouls it back. Fastball. He's down 0-2. Got up in the count 2-1 in the second and connected off Jordan Zimmerman. There was no question from the time that left the bat. That was out of here. Battling from behind, 0-2. And Morrison is out on strikes. So a couple of strikeouts here following those 2 base hits.
Boy, he has really toughened up here the last couple of hitters. Good fastball there. Great location.
So Corey Dickerson will now pinch hit. He'll hit for Jennings.
Well, and we all know what this at bat's about. I mean, this is going to be power on power. Corey Dickerson up here to try to do some damage.
Dickerson was in the lineup yesterday, went 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. He doubled in a run, had a big 2 base hit in the first inning here Friday. Rays put up 3 in the first inning to start this series. Won that game 7-5, dropped it yesterday 5-4. And now Jennings lifted for the pinch hitter in the 8th. Rays down by 3. Potential tying run at the plate. And the pitch is a strike. So Low with that pitch at the knees. Gets the jump. High popper right side. Foul ball. Romine, the first baseman, makes the catch. Rays put 2 men on and leave them on. We're going into the bottom of the 8th. 7-4 Detroit. Brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Well, this game on a Sunday afternoon in Detroit getting later. Bottom of the 8th inning. Steve Geltz, the 4th pitcher of the day for the Rays. 3 from Archer, 3 from Webb. That was a big lift. 1 from Eveland, and now Geltz on to work the 8th.
Well, this is the key to the Rays, final shot here coming up.
Corey Dickerson now in left after pinch hitting, and moving in to play center field is Geyer, moving over from left. And a swing and a miss by Kinsler. Breaking ball to start him.
Yeah, you need a big inning here from Geltz, and it won't be easy starting here at the top of the order.
Well, the Rays facing the top of the order here in the 8th, and they'll be facing, it would seem, if the score remains as it is, the Detroit closer in the 9th. 1 and 2 to Kinsler. Rays with opportunities really in each of the last 3 innings, and they did get 2 on the home run in the 7th from Beckham, but they've left 5 men on base in the last 3 innings.
Yeah, that Tiger bullpen, they cracked the door open, and the Rays have just not been able to push their way through.
Little tap. That's going to kick foul. Geltz down off the mound to pick it up. Still a ball, 2 strike count to Kinsler. Geltz touched for a home run yesterday in the 2/3 of an inning he worked in relief of Drew Smiley. That was that big 4-run 7th. Smiley worked 6 1/3. Geltz finished the inning, but was touched for the home run by J.D. Martinez, who is on deck. Kinsler pops it into shallow right. Hang time, and Souza Jr.'s there. 1 gone. So J.D. Martinez, who's 2 for 4 today, walks to the plate. He worked the count full and then homered to right field off Geltz.
One place that you could beat J.D. Martinez with the fastball is up in the zone. Low ball hitter, likes the ball down and out over the plate, and unfortunately for Steve Geltz and the Rays, that's where that pitch found itself.
Taps the inside pitch foul for a strike. 1 out, bases empty. Martinez doubled in a run in the 1st inning, singled in the 4th. Now fly ball, right center. Souza Jr. making the call and the catch on this one. Just back front of the warning track.
Got that ball down in that danger area. That one almost found its way a little too deep.
Jose Iglesias, who came on to run for Cabrera when he left. Cabrera hit by a pitch on the outside of the knee and went down to first eventually, but a couple of pitches later took himself out. And Iglesias takes the pitch down for a ball. Two and 0. Gilt's missing with the fastball on that last pitch. That's a strike. 2-1. Well, Gelt's a very busy man out of that Rays bullpen last year. He did a little bit of everything for the Rays last season. There's a base hit lined over the head of Steve Pearce. So a 2-out single by Iglesias will get Victor Martinez to the plate. And frankly, he's a guy you'd just as soon not face.
Yeah, very, very good hitter, obviously. A lot better from the left side, which is where he'll be hitting. Season numbers, an average 324, and he'll be up here looking for a fastball that he can handle.
There's a base hit at 4 at bats. Line single to left back in the third off Archer. And he scored one of the 3 runs they put up in that frame.
And he got robbed by Desmond Jennings out in left center field, deep.
That was his first time up in the first inning. No ball, no strikes. Fly ball the other way this time. Dickerson back, and that one is gone. Victor Martinez hits an opposite field home run. A 2-run home run. Well, the Tigers have built a 9-4 lead now on that home run. Well, you hated to see him come up again, and that's his 6th home run of the year.
And there's that fastball he's looking for. And how about the show of power? That ball was on the outside corner. This ball working its way to the corner, and he's able to reach out there, cover the plate, and cover the plate with authority the other way. That's something.
Here's Nick Castellanos is 2 for 4 and pops it into left center field. Coming on, Dickerson out of left to make the catch out there. 2-run score on the home run. 9-4 Detroit. Alex Wilson will take over with this expanded lead. Road trip continues. Rays will head to Miami to take on the Marlins the next 2 days. We'll be with you tomorrow at 6:30. Matt Moore against Wei-Yin Chen. Day game on Tuesday, and then the action switches to Tropicana Field Wednesday and Thursday. The Rays and the Marlins in the Citrus Series. It's been a tough stretch for Steve Geltz, giving up a home run today. Giving up home runs in 3 of his last 4 appearances and 5 of his last 7. So Mark Lowe worked 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, picked up 2 strikeouts. And now Wilson is on to face Tim Beckham. Pitch is a strike. Beckham, 2 hits today. Singled in the second, hit the 2-run home run in the 7th inning. That at the time reduced the deficit to 2. It's up to 5 now. It's 1-1. Kurt Casale next, and then Brandon Guyer due up.
I think the Detroit Tigers heard us, Dwayne, and reacted accordingly. Didn't think that they were going to be able to win this game with 6 runs, and they're able to push it out, get the 7th, 2 more, get the 9th, and now real difficult to come back.
Chuck swing and a roller foul. Takes the count to 2-2.
The whole vibe of this game was bad from the beginning. I mean, jumping out on Chris Archer the first 3 innings, and then you're playing catch up all day long. Close it to within 2 and felt like you had a chance. I mean, you had some base runners out there and some chances to bust through, not able to do it. And then, of course, Detroit answers right back with 3 more.
And the count is full. Wilson worked an inning here Friday night. Gave up a home run to Steve Pearce. There's a chopper toward the middle. Kinsler gloves and throws. And Beckham is the first out in the 9th inning. Well, here's Kurt Casale. Well, here's the other alarming factor. This was the 10th start for Chris Archer, who was, there's a hot shot down to third. Castellanos, a great stop on a hard hit ball. He was shaded toward the line, but he throws out Casale. So 2 gone in the 9th. 10 starts now for Archer, and the Rays 1 out away from going 3-7 in the 10 starts he's made.
Yeah. Yep. And you know, he's your #1 opening day starter. And so, you know, you're expecting those numbers to be flipped, you know, to be 7-3 in his 10 starts. And you'd hope for even better than that. But, you know, it's been an up and down beginning of the year for Chris, no question.
Guyer chops to third. Castellanos' throw ends this game. 3 ground balls in the 9th inning.